What's up everybody, Average Sniper here, and welcome to another video. Today I'd like to start a discussion in the comments section about what, in my opinion, I think was the biggest mistake that the developers made when putting this game, PUBG, together. I'm going to show you a clip, we're going to use that as our discussion, and then I will talk more about my experience with it and how I was able to improve it a little bit and how I was able to track it. Alright guys, we're going to start off with this clip. I'm going to show it to you a couple times in regular motion, then I'm going to show it to you a couple times in slow motion. So now this is 15% speed, and what we're going to see is this guy literally reacting and killing me in milliseconds. It looks a little different in slow motion, but we're gonna really break it down here in just a second. I'm gonna show it to you guys one more time in slow motion and kind of explain what's happening here. I want you guys to know I don't think I should have won this gunfight, but I also think the way that I died was not correct. There was no time at all for me to react. You can even see me at 15% speed. As soon as I see the guy, I try to move my gun towards him and get shot before my reticle can even get there, before my sight can even get to the guy. All right, let's break this down and see what happened. Now this is the part where we see the enemy, and I'm not going to play any of this in slow motion because I want you to see how it happened for me. So the first part of a gunfight is to acquire your enemy. You see the enemy, you get aimed onto them, and then you fire. But before I can acquire the target, I get killed by his shotgun, and what a shot that was. This guy obviously is good with a shotgun. You know, I'm not putting him down at all. I probably completely should have died, but I think I should have had a little more time to be able to react to my enemy. There's always a chance that he just got a lucky shot, you know, or he had just perfectly aimed at where I was and just pulled the trigger and got it. That happens all the time with the lucky shots. But what got me thinking about this and what made me want to make a video is how often this happens in PUBG compared to other AAA games that I play. And I started to think, is everyone that plays PUBG, even the guys whose stats I look up that have a much lower KD than me, are they all just this good at the game to the point where they're all better than me? Like they can kill me so much faster than I can even see them. And I started thinking about it, and I started doing some research to find out why this only happens to me in PUBG. When I play other shooters, I can instantly obtain and shoot the enemies without too much of a problem. When I get killed, it's usually my own fault for having potato aim, coming around a corner I shouldn't have come around, but it never looks like this, where every player that kills me is just so much faster than me. It's like they're a god, you know? So here's what I found, guys. So as I creep around the side of this window, ready to give this guy a face full of 9mm rounds, I stop at this point and draw a crappy red outline to demonstrate this is the point where I should have actually been able to see the enemy. He can actually see me at this point, but I can't see him, which gives him a chance to get ready to shoot me. So basically, the red outline is my estimation of where the enemy actually was on his screen compared to where he was on my screen, which is why it feels like he killed me so fast, because he could actually see me for a lot longer than I could see him. So at the point when I saw him and started to acquire him, he had already lined me up and got the kill. And here's my favorite part. Notice how when he fires his shotgun, the shot that killed me, he's actually shooting at the ground and not shooting at me. This is because the client and the server have a desync and haven't caught up with each other, which ends up screwing not him, but screwing me. Because instead of seeing his actual location and being able to pull the trigger and put up a decent fight, which I might have lost anyway, I get killed by a guy who on my screen is not actually where he is on his screen. This is classic desync. Let's talk about lag. Let's talk about desync. Let's talk about client-side hit detection.
I am Batman. Average Sniper.
Alright guys, let me start by saying two things. First off, just because you got killed due to desync does not necessarily mean you should have won that gunfight. Like in the beginning, going close range against a guy with a shotgun is always very risky business. So regardless of whether you got killed by desync or not, it doesn't necessarily mean you should have won that gunfight. I just want to clear that up. That clip in the beginning is just an example. I probably would have got killed anyway. But it's just the way you get killed that makes you wonder if you might have had a better chance had things been different. I'm not a game developer, guys. I'm not a programmer. I did a lot of research on this to try and figure out the best way to explain the definition of desync to people that play this game, because I know it's a term that's thrown around a lot in the community, but if you ask someone to define it, a lot of people cannot do it. It's basically just lag, but let me give you some more information, guys. So what I found is that PUBG has client-side hit detection, which means when you shoot somebody, at first you get the kill on your computer or your console, and it sends that information to the server, and the server sends that information to the person you killed or the other people. So there's always a little bit of desync, but if everybody's playing on the same ping or very similar ping, it's not going to be much of a problem. The problem is if you have a very high ping player come in. Let's say you have somebody come into the game that's 1,000 milliseconds ping, really, really bad. He shoots you, and you die behind cover. So you saw the guy, he was shooting at you, you went behind cover, but you still died. On his screen, he saw you, he shot you legit, but none of the bullets registered until a whole second later. So you could be behind that tree for a whole second, and then all the bullets slap you at once from this desynced guy. Another example, let's say there's another player with 1,000 ping in your server. He's behind a tree, you're behind a tree. You peek out, wait for him to peek because you know exactly where he's going to peek. But the moment you see him, or maybe even right before you see him, he gets a perfect shot on you and you die. That's because he peeked the tree, lined you up, and shot you within that 1,000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. He was able to kill you in 1 second, and you couldn't do anything about it. Now in PUBG, 1 second is all you need when you're lining up a headshot. If you're good with a sniper, you can peek out, line the headshot up, and pull it off within 1 to 2 seconds. Even if you don't get it within a second, that huge desync with the high ping player gives them an extra second to line your head up before you can see them. So just tell me this, guys. Have you ever been in a peeking gunfight battle with someone behind a tree or in a window, and you either get killed before you see them peek or the split second that they peek? And have you wondered to yourself, is that guy just a god, or is there some lag going on here? Now, desync is a pretty broad term. There can be a lot of other reasons why desync is caused, but when we're playing PUBG, specifically PUBG, I think the biggest reason for desync is players with high ping being in a server when you have the low ping. You would think that having a really low ping, like 20 to 50 milliseconds, would basically help you win the game. And it will against other people around the same ping. Then it's a skill versus skill and not a lag versus desync or something like that. On client-side hit detection, guys, the person that has the super high ping, the really bad connection to the server, is going to have advantage in peaking situations, because when they peak, you're not going to see that they peaked until a half second or a whole second later, depending on how bad their ping is. So I went into a European server after I was just getting owned on North American servers. I couldn't even fight anybody for the first few games. I was just getting killed by guys. I knew where they were, but I would get killed like as soon as I saw them or before I even saw them at all. And I was just like, this is crazy. Let me go into a European server where I have about 120 ping and see if the fight seemed more fair. And oh my God, the fight seemed so much fair. I got a chicken dinner on like my third try. I was getting all kinds of kills. You know, people were hitting me, I was hitting them. It was no big deal. And then I go back into North American servers where I have better ping and I do worse. And some of the players I was playing against had very high ping. There's a lot of foreign players in the servers, guys, with very high ping. And because of client-side hit detection, this can give them an advantage over you in a lot of situations. I know it sucks. That's the best example I can think to give of desync, of why it lags, and of why you get killed before you even have a chance to react. I'd love to know what you guys have to say about it in the comments section. And like I said, if I used any of these terms wrong because I'm not a game developer or programmer, I apologize. I just hope I was able to get the point across that sometimes even if you're a good player, there's just nothing more you can do to win a gunfight against someone who simply has a higher ping than you in certain situations. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a great day, and I can't wait to read the comments. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed, and consider hitting that join button if you'd like to support. See you later, everyone.